everybody. Excited to be here. Thank you for coming. So my name is Vitaly. I'm a co-founder of Appevo Studio. So Appevo Studio is a small, lean mobile game development company, originally from Ukraine. Yes. There are 4 of us. We've been working together for almost 3 years. Before we were working for EA, Big Fish, and Six Ways, and others. So we have one game shipped on App Store. It's Beaver Adventures. Is a 2D unique puzzle game for mobile devices. It got pretty good ratings. It got 4.5 out of 5. It was featured more than in 100 countries, including US, by Apple. And if we look at the retention, so retention is pretty good. 30 days, it is 17.8, and after 9 days, it's 9%. After publishing our first game, we developed good relations with Tatum Games and did some work for hire. And now here we are presenting our next game. It is Funtime Bros, and we are 1.5 months from test launching it. So here's the trailer. Funtime Bros is a simple 2D game, 2D puzzle game. The story goes like this: you have 2 mischievous brothers that made a mess in your cupboard, and it's up to you to bring all this chaos out and figure out how to calm down these 2 little devils. Our strategy to make Funtime Bros a successful monetizing game is, first of all, is to make it as accessible as possible. For that, we picked a simple one-click mechanics. Oh, sorry. For that, we picked a simple single tap mechanics combined it with free-to-play model, and so every person that has mobile device can easily access our game, pick it up, and play it. After that, we took the best game development engine out there, Unity 3D, and we'll be covering all mobile platforms, Facebook and web. And the last but not least, we'll go with very deep Facebook integration, and that will make our game both fun to discover, share, and play. So now let's go into monetization. We are planning to monetize on tabs, locations, and ads as a whole. But monetization strategy for our game will be determined separately for every platform there is, and it will be determined during soft launches. Yeah. So, as I've said, we're 1.5 months from test launching it on Facebook. After Facebook, we'll go for a small mobile market, so we can test the monetization there. And step by step, we're going to cover all mobile platforms, including BlackBerry, Facebook, and Google Chrome. So, this is our timeline. And now let me talk about what we are here for. So, for this game, we are looking for publishers. The ideal deal for us is to find several publishers to target specific markets. So we are sure publishers are doing a good job. We're currently in talks with some of them, though nothing is signed. So feel free to come to us and talk to us. And the second why we're here is we're looking for investments. We need investments for our further game. We have some games in pipeline right now, and we are currently looking for 250 euros for 1 year. So it covers all salaries, office equipment, and promotional expenses for our next games. And Appevo stands for Application Evolution. So step by step, we're doing evolution in mobile and social. And join the revolution. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's try to keep the time, guys.
All right. So are we ready for some questions? Mark, do you want to start?
Sure. That sounds great. Hey, the guy on your last slide, I think I worked with him at a startup a little while ago. So I didn't really understand what the mechanic is in the game. What is it that what are the characters doing? Are they collecting something? I wasn't really clear on that.
Thank you. The mechanic is simple. It's a single tap game where your main objective is to connect the two characters. And you're doing it by popping the bubbles. The bubbles are separating them. The levels are done by hand. And yeah, basically you just pop the bubbles, use mechanisms inside the level and connect them.
Right. Thank you. Patrick?
You know, casual space is incredibly competitive, right, on every platform these days. And I'm not sure that it was apparent to me, at least, what the unique selling point is here. Right? What's so unique about this game, apart from the concept?
Well, unique about this game is that it's highly accessible. So every person, basically from kid to the adult, can easily pick up the device and start playing right away. So there's basically almost no learning curve. Every person knows how to pop the bubbles, and this is what we're aiming for: a game that will be understood for both young and old.
Thank you. Michael?
You remind me, and the game reminds me of something I spent time with 3 years ago. It was a small studio in Moscow called Zeptolab. It's really two brothers, and the game has a look and feel a little bit like Cut the Road. You've mentioned you want to get publishing attention or help from the different platforms. What do they care about? They're looking for games that allow them to feature their device, that showcase their device and let them sell more devices, right? If you prove that, if you showcase something differentiable, that will help you in that effort. You mentioned, and I saw something on the slide about location for monetization. What did you mean by that? You had a slide there that had monetization location. What were you going to do with that?
Oh, that's not like a GPS location.
Okay.
It's basically their level packs, but the progresses will be like a big area where you move from one place to the other. Yes, and location is basically the pack of levels that you'll generally proceed, and you either share this game and ask your friends for help, or you buy the next path to the next location.
Got
Okay,
it.
great. Thank you. Felix?
I have one quick question. You talked about deep Facebook integration. Having worked with Facebook in the past, Facebook is still known for changing their APIs every now and then. And you're working with Unity, the Facebook SDK. Met with the Facebook team a week ago. The Facebook SDK for Unity, as it is today, is really not really there yet. If you want to park multi-platforms, what kind of thoughts do you guys have on, well, not breaking your game when Facebook, without giving you any kind of head start, changes their APIs completely?
You mean the APIs for logging in on mobile?
Well, whatever you're doing with Facebook,
Okay.
whatever you're doing, right? I mean, they tend to change their APIs all the time.
Well, we're definitely looking to integrate it anyway. So lots of games use Facebook for logging in and seeing your friends' progress in case they change something. So we'll be quick to update it. Hopefully they don't change. And Candy Crush and lots of games from Top Crossing still using Facebook, and yes, they may experience some problems that we don't see, though, but they're working that out, so I think we'll be able to work that out too.
Can I play your game without a Facebook account?
Yes, you can.
Great. Thank you. So let's go to feedback, Mark.
Yeah, it's funny what Michael said. I had a kind of Malcolm Gladwell moment. You read the book Blink. Basically, the book Blink is like people make as accurate decisions on a first impression than they do after weeks or months of research. My first impression was, this is cut the rope with bubbles, right? And I also did some work with the Zepto Lab guys, so I know the game quite well. But the thing that I was missing is immediately with Cut the Rope, I get, okay, the guy needs candy and I got to do something to feed him. I didn't get the point. Just looking at it, the characters are cute, I didn't get it. And at the same time, thinking about the monetization, the 3 monetizations, like, well, what do you mean with taps? Does that translate into, I have so many taps I can make on the bubble, so I have like a health meter there, and I have to, that's a resource I need to manage? That wasn't clear to me. So I like the concept, I think it's cool, I like where you're going, but I think it has to be, the beautiful thing about one, and I like with the one-tap strategy, that makes a lot of sense, but the beautiful thing about Cut the Rope that made it so simple is you immediately knew, without any language, without anything, exactly what you had to do. At least to me, that wasn't clear in this build.
Great, thank you. Patrick?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I think all 3 of us seem to have worked with Misha, so I'll save that part. But definitely, I think one of the things that I see as a theme kind of happening often in game development is, particularly when you're talking about mid-core or casual games, I think a lot of developers are missing kind of that meta story piece. And as the market becomes more competitive, the meta story piece becomes more important. Right? You have to give the user more of a reason to play the game, and there has to be some sort of a clearer objective. So I think kind of level design is going to be really key, and your ability to kind of like create engaging new content will be key as well. I'd be interested to see if you could come up with some sort of way to build a game that enables users almost to kind of create their own levels somehow, and then kind of contribute that to a community. Obviously, when you're talking about iOS and mobile game development, that's a lot harder. But that kind of methodology obviously has worked quite well for Minecraft and others, right? So users are interested, especially kind of this kind of demographic, particularly skewing perhaps a little bit younger. They're interested in personalization. They're interested in kind of like user-generated content, not necessarily because it's monetizable. I think that's a different question, but I think that will be worth further investigation. Is how do you personalize the game a little bit more? Can you create the ability for the users to create their own levels? How do you build that feeling of engagement for the community and give it a bigger, broader story that gives the user a purpose to play?
Great, thank you. We'll do one more feedback.
You mentioned a lot about different monetization plans per platform. Just think about, as you scale through multiple platforms and you launch those multiple platforms, how you're fragmenting your own monetization. Much more simple if you focus on one and achieve one and make that successful, and then grow based on that. Don't try to fragment on every platform because you'll lose out somewhere.
Great, thank you so much. All right, good job.
Thank you.